Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This is another one of the Drago walking videos. Drago. There's Drago. Big Drago. Dragocенny. Precious. My little precious. 40 kilograms, a little precious. So, yeah. Walking through fields finally. Well, the rains have stopped. The heat's gone up to about 25, 26 Celsius. Everything's finally dried out. Он неспокойно с лошадями. Боится откровенно. Но видел, каждый раз боится. Drago, угомонись. So, yeah, we had a horse and rider come up behind us on the trail. Oh, and the horse just shite everywhere. And Drago is very paranoid of horses. He's 40 kilos. The first time he saw horses walking by, these huge animals that really didn't give a damn that he was there, he just freaked out. I barely held him. Took all my strength. Hold him. He was going absolutely nuts. So he's getting a little bit better. But the rider's like, oh, don't worry about it. Just the horse isn't afraid of dog. It's not the horse that's afraid of dog. It's the dog that's afraid of the horse. Totally afraid of the horse. Drago gamanis. So, check, no horses behind me. So nice little surprise like that. So yeah, anyways, what are we going to talk about today? Well, we'll talk about Trump's team that has gone on the anti-Russian campaign trail, Drago. Now he's trying to get through this trail walk faster because he's afraid of another horse coming up. Last summer it was funny because every time we got on the trail, he'd stop and look all around, make sure there are no horses around before he'd get on the trail. So anyways, so we've got Rubio doing reverting back to his typical neocon ways, and he's backing the suicide sanctions, suicide for America, of course, sanctions for lighting the loafers. That's right. He and Lindsay are the new duo on this. Rubio isn't missing a beat on screaming to Congress that we gotta get these sanctions in. We're gonna grind the. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Lindsay. That we're gonna grind Russia's bones. Okay, Lindsay. Well, you maybe you might like grinding bones, but it's not gonna be Russia's bones. I'll leave you to decide what I mean by that. Yeah, walking here on the trail is hard because it's been raining for so long, and the horses have really dug it up. So anyways, we've got Rubio all out at it. Get the sanctions in, because we can't wait to kill the U.S. economy off fully. That's what we need, the sanctions. And then we've got Vance, who was doing a academy talk, I think West Point. It was just flat out stating that Russia is our enemy. So okay, so we understand now that the Trump team, whether or not Trump is I won't say pro-Russian, but willing to try to mend offensive Russia. His team isn't. The vast majority of his team isn't. Deal is still out on. I'd say the deal is still out on a few people, Tulsi Gabbard being one of them, but the majority of them are anti-Russian, obviously enough. So whatever neocon tendencies they may have more or less hidden, like Vance, are coming back up now. So nothing changes. The U.S. government is what the U.S. government is. It is a machine that's hell-bent on world domination, and it'll kill off its own population if it has to get to it. And speaking of killing off populations, what do you think of the, I don't honestly think AI as a actual intellect is anywhere quite that close as everybody keeps talking. But as for your jobs, well, your jobs are screwed. Everybody's jobs are screwed, which is an interesting feedback loop, because what do you do when nobody has the money to buy the goods you're now producing even cheaper and in bigger mass? Well, now you've got real problems there. That's an economic situation you have no models for. before anybody starts to say that technology has always replaced certain jobs, it has, absolutely. But never has it done it that quickly, and people were able to adjust, by going to other industries that were similar or had required similar skill sets, or production was growing so fast because supply was so small and demand was so big that even the jobs that were destroyed, new jobs appeared because so many factories are opening up. Here we've got a whole different dynamic. First of all, we're no longer just destroying blue-collar jobs. We're destroying white-collar jobs, first and foremost. That'll be really the first ones, though. And Internet of Things, if you don't know what the Internet of Things is, that was a guarantee to happen. I did a lecture on the Internet of Things about 6 years ago. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah. The horsey left another minefield. So the Internet of Things is a full setup where everything's connected, and it cuts out the human in between. So imagine you have a printer, right? And the cartridge in that printer is going down. It's a critical level. So no longer do you have people anywhere in this chain. The printer contacts the monitoring software with an update that it's at a critical level. The monitoring software automatically places an order to the supplier. The supplier's computer picks it up, sends an order to the warehouse. The warehouse is automated, so it just picks up or finds that order, sends it out by, well, now it'll be actual humanoid droids doing it. But before it may have been a droid on wheels or on caterpillars, caterpillar drive, or whatever. But the point is, it's automated. So the picking is automated too in the warehouse. So all those positions are already gone. The secretary is gone. The payment is automated, so you don't need any accountants. Everything's gone, right? So all these jobs are gone. Great, we got the horse coming back this way. Why is he coming back this way instead of going full circle? Well, we'll go in the field here in a minute before Drago freaks out again. Yeah, and he's picking up speed. Okay, Drago, let's go to the field. I have to seriously check myself for ticks when this is done. He's got the pill to kill the ticks. Humans don't have that option. So, yeah. And there's the horse going back by. Stój тут. See, this time around you get an adventure episode. Not just me walking a dog. Пошли, пошли. Да, мы идем в противоположную сторону. Пошли. Anyways, so all those positions are gone. Then you get, maybe a driver for now, but sooner or later those positions are going to be gone too. You got the picker, you got the people at the warehouse or the inbox that the cartridge is going to come in. At the company is going to be automated, automatic invoicing from both sides and payment by both sides. So the only thing, anyways, for now, that there will be a human being doing is the technician actually loading the cartridge into the printer. And that too, sooner or later, is going to get automated by a robot. But that may be still off another 5, 7 years, 10 years, maybe. But all the other jobs are gone. That's it, they're gone. No human beings needed. So, and these are white-collar jobs. So all these jobs are gone. All those salaries are gone. All that tax income, by the way, is gone too. So the government has this problem now. Now, the American government, most governments in general, are absolutely corrupt entities that don't give a damn about their citizens, just so long as the citizens don't rebel. They're not out there for the citizens, they're out there for their corporate elites, who are paying them the bribes, and frankly, especially if it's the U.S. government, most of them are from the corporate elites. They're part of the same group. So they really don't give a damn about the other 98% of humanity that lives in their borders. They don't. That's the problem. And don't fool yourself with any illusions. So what happens when you automate everything? Well, you get rid of a hell of a lot of people. Now just the Internet of Things is really getting rid of accountants. It's getting rid of white-collar jobs. Now let's go into AI. Even AI as it is right now, which is a system that can, of course, do calculations a lot faster than a human being, has a huge database to, quote, learn from. There's still algorithms powering it for decision making, obviously. But while we're at it, so what happens? What happens? Now, a lot of the design work, a lot of the entry-level work is gone. You don't need entry-level engineers. You don't need entry-level lawyers, assistants, and so on. So you get rid of all those positions. Those all the white-collar jobs, those kinds that were solid middle and upper middle class, gone. Of course, down the road, you get the problem once the people sitting making the money, counting the money, who themselves at one point or another were in these entry-level jobs, are retired or gone. There's no one to take their place. Why? Because there's absolutely no one in the entry-level jobs that has any experience, and that's it. That's just how it runs. Because you have to have people with experience, obviously. Or maybe they automate away everything. You automate away with AI, even the CEOs, except for the few that control everything. So you basically get a techno-feudal state where you've got an upper 1%, and then you've got the rest of humanity that's really not needed because you got robots doing everything. The economy itself will collapse long before that, unless the government does basic income. Basic income for everyone. The problem with basic income is human nature. So humans have this little problem. We live relatively long, especially as far as land mammals. We're one of the longest lived. If those diseases get solved, we live even longer. And we get bored. That's right. Because those people are either asininely simple-minded or living in a fantasy land snorting fairy dust that think everyone's going to become a painter or everyone's going to be a writer. Well, look, half the population has an IQ below average. Let's begin with that. That means they can't be painters or they can't do that super creative work. They still deserve to live. They still deserve to have normal jobs and so on. Now they won't. People get bored. People get pissed. They're not starving, but they have no future concept of how they're going to lift themselves up for whatever level they are, and their children have no future. People get mean. And when you got nothing to lose, you take out the government. That's how it happens. Or the government takes you out. And if the military isn't ready to fire on its own people, sooner than later, because the military always advances faster in civilian tech, you'll have the machines that will do it for you. So you're going to have a very small percentage of population that's going to decide that really doesn't need the rest of humanity. It doesn't. The robots will do whatever it needs. They will live like kings, and the rest of that scummy two-legged bipedals, we can just get rid of them. Leave 1 million people on Earth living like gods, techno-gods, and the rest of humanity can go die off, or we'll just help it die off. So don't think this is a non-plausible situation. It is more than a plausible situation. It may happen a lot faster than most people think. The Internet of Things definitely is going to get rid of a lot of jobs. Shove a chip into everything, communicate it all. Security, of course, is going to be a pain. But here's the problem. Never in the history of humanity have we ever had a point where automation went so fast, so quickly, and so totally. I mean, when you get robots, androids doing the work, and look at the androids that are coming out right now between US and China and other countries. They are quite literally doing the work. And if not yet, then we're only talking a few years from when they can do whatever work is programmed into them. Add it up into a high-speed processing system, and you really start to have issues, because it can solve the basic problems that a worker may encounter. Now what do? You don't need the workers. Who's going to buy your goods? Sooner or later, you don't need the factories. So as a feedback loop, it's a catastrophe. You don't have the workforce to, you don't have the jobs to suck up. And yes, of course it'll create new jobs. But look, you know, you have 50 people on the work line, now you have 40 robots, or 50 robots, and you need 10 people to maintain those robots. Yes, it's created new jobs, but you've lost 4 times more jobs. And most of those people that were on that work line are not gonna be able to do those new jobs. They're not. My Lord. So anyway, so that's what we're looking at right now. Really big problems. And nobody's particularly making any plans. There are a few voices I've seen on the internet and other places that are starting to raise these issues. I'm not even getting into the AI lying and things like that. Being caught lying, you know, whether or not it ever reaches sentience is a question, or do we really need sentience to be able to be a problem for humanity, and so on and so on. Oh Lord, yeah, this is total swampland here. Horses really churned it up. I guess we can go through on the side. It's drier further on. So anyway, so yeah, now I don't see any politicians or any of the smart minds, quote smart minds. You know, having brains and having wisdom are two absolutely different things. The vast majority of tech people, they got boners because it's high tech. That's it. That's the beginning and the end of it. They don't consider how far or what this could cause or what kind of issues, especially if they're making money off of it. They really don't give a damn about the rest of humanity or what it could turn into. They don't think that far ahead. The government's supposed to think that far ahead, but most of the government, especially in the West, is just thinking about its next donor run. Who's giving its money, big money. And the IT companies are the big money. So they don't care. So you get this problem of who cares? Nobody cares that's in power. A few people do, but they're not loud voices. And most of them are being dismissed. But this issue is going to hit hard and going to hit hard fast. So something to consider about. Something to definitely consider about. So yeah. So I think, you know, you've got this, you got to look at this too, is the U.S. government's investing huge money into new weapon systems. They need that war. And what better way to reduce the population than war, calamity, and everything else. And that's usually what follows any of these things. So, you know, we've talked about this. I talked about it on Durin. We discussed the oil and gas issues, the American super sanctions that are gonna backfire. You know, you really can't sanction a nation into bankruptcy that is self-sufficient. The U.S., for all they tried with sanctions, couldn't do it to South Africa, apartheid South Africa. The South Africans were industrial enough that, the Afrikaners anyways, were industrial enough that they put together a lot of new industries and just kept on going. Russia, except for a few things here and there, for the most part, is self-sufficient. And the Russian drive is now very much so mercantilistic. I got the sun right behind me, so I can barely see the screen. It's very mercantilistic now, which is, and I'm a mercantilist. So you got a point where you're looking at being as much self-sufficient as humanly possible. Russia's heavily investing in high-end chips. Russia manufactures chips. It does manufacture chips. It doesn't manufacture the high-end chips. Chip development on the high end is a weak point in Russia. So the government is spending huge amounts of money on that. Middle range, low range chips, yeah, Russia's been producing those for the last 40 years. Not an issue. 50 years really. Not an issue. That's why the rockets, the missiles fire and fly, because they don't need the high-end NVIDIA chips. The chips that are produced are more than enough for targeting and navigation systems. Now, the high-end chips, that's a whole different issue. Now, Russia has an advantage that the West doesn't. It has low-cost electricity, has lots of electricity, and is building up more redundant and more electrical capacity. That's why so much mining gets done in Russia. And that's a big, big plus. Тебе нужно в туалет? Иди. That's a big, big plus, any which way you look at it. He's searching for the horse. The horse is ridden off a long time ago, but he's searching for the horse. So, yeah, it's like I said, at this point, it's gone well into ludicrous mode. I'm personally hoping very much so that the U.S. gets these sanctions going. This is going to be fun to watch, the economic collapse, and it will hit. A country that's producing massive debt, that's over 140% in debt as it is. A country whose GDP looks impressive on paper, but in reality, look at the American GDP. About 40% of that is the finance sector, the banking sector. What does finance produce? Literally. Does finance produce anything that goes on your table? Does it produce anything you sit on, watch? No, it doesn't. Big finance is a piracy system that needs fast money, and it does that by killing industry and liquidating it. So you can get the bonuses, the quarterly bonuses, the bi-yearly bonuses, the yearly bonuses, and so on. Industry is a long-term investment. So 40% of the U.S. economy is finance. Think about that. That's the biggest, I think, anywhere in the world except for the UK, which also doesn't produce almost anything anymore. UK can't even heat itself. That's what happens when you close down the coal mines, flatten them out. Close down, we're not talking about they closed the gate and put a padlock on it. We're talking about they destroyed all the infrastructure, filled them up, and then built housing over them. Yeah, it's at that level. UK is out of energy. And the population is in the process of being replaced. And anybody that puts a like to this video in the UK will probably get arrested. So yeah, that's a democracy for you. Dysfunctional state, absolutely. But that's what modern democracy looks like. Well, that's just what democracy always degrades down to. Democracy is a non-stable, degradatory system. And what's going to happen from that, which happens always, is the dictatorship. Because out of democracy rises up some guy that's going to tell you, hey, I'm going to save you from those oligarchs that also rose up from that democracy. I'm going to save you from those oligarchs. Give me the power and I will save you. And once he gets into power, that's it. His job is to get rich and for his clique to get rich, not to save you, the little guy. That's just the way the system runs. Yeah. And it's been a known factor for well over 2,000 years. Plato wrote about it, for God's sakes. But no, people don't read. That's why the education system is dumbed down. Keep the people dumb so everything old is new to them. And they don't have no idea what's coming. Because otherwise they may go, people wrote about this before. People have experienced this before. There's not that much new under the sun. There is, but not that much. And the democracy failure is nothing new. There's been several waves of democracy in human history, and they've all failed. And they all failed miserably and led to massive bloodshed, because that's just how the system is. It's unstable, it's absolutely set up for corruption, and that's just how it goes. So anyways, I'll stop at this point. Thank you for listening. Please like, please subscribe. In the description is also my Bitcoin wallet. If you would like to support me, I will be more than grateful. You can do it directly into Bitcoin or Patreon. So Patreon, of course, I don't know if I'll be able to get it out because they keep changing rules. Buy me a coffee, cancel my account because I'm in Russia. So yeah, there's that. Bitcoin is at least Bitcoin. If you want to help the people in Donbass, let me know also, and goes in the same Bitcoin account. I'll just use that money for humanitarian aid. We'll be heading down there in a few weeks, so we'll have new videos up in both English and Russian. What's going on? Okay, have a good day. Thanks for listening, and thanks for your support. Cheers.